I'm sure my stomach's gonna squirt while I'm reading this. Hope that's okay with you, Shawn, baby. This is Shawn the Savage in Play Bite. Shawn called himself the Savage because names had to mean something when you had nothing else. He didn't grow up knowing much about grace or stillness, but he knew how to speak loud enough to be untouched. He knew the rules of mockery. He knew how to push first, so no one could get close enough to know he wanted more. On screens, he was invincible. On comments, unbothered. He made a meal out of certainty, out of assumptions. That was the game. Everyone played it. And when someone broke the rhythm, someone sincere, someone soft, someone unafraid, Shawn struck. Words like, "Man's thought he came up with the most genius idea ever, and in no time, he will be famous." That kind of thing. Quick, ironic, dismissive, like a fart. He didn't remember writing it the next day. It didn't matter. He had said his piece. The world kept scrolling. Weeks later, Shawn stopped at a gas station on the quiet side of the city. A nothing place. Dusty glass. Cracked pavement. The kind of place that doesn't sell anything rare. Just time slowly dying. Inside, humming fluorescents. A cooler that groaned when opened. Shawn grabbed his usual. Something sweet. Something sharp. Then the door chimed. The man who entered didn't look like anyone special. No glowing aura. No choir of light. Just a long coat, dark hair, a presence like still water that knew the mountain he came from. Shawn didn't know who he was, but the body remembers what the mind forgets. And something old inside Shawn stilled. The man didn't browse, he didn't hurry, he moved like gravity listened to him. And it does. He passed Shawn with a nod, and it was that nod, small, effortless, that shook everything. Shawn blinked. His body stiffened. The usual thoughts rose. Say something clever. Say something first. Control the moment. But his mouth stayed closed. The man set a glass bottle on the counter, paid in cash. No phone, no noise. And as he turned to leave, he looked at Shawn with eyes like polished obsidian. Not cold, but impossibly deep. Many speak loudest when they're furthest from what they are, he said, as if reading it from a truth that had always been there. Shawn didn't respond. The man didn't wait for one. He stepped out into the twilight, where the wind had softened and the sky looked bruised with light. Shawn stood in silence. It was then he remembered something, a memory he didn't know he had. That name, Corvin Lord Hayes. It landed like thunder whispered through bone. No one had said it, but he knew. And suddenly, everything Shawn had ever written in mockery, every flinch disguised as a punchline, flashed through his mind like a dying star's regress. Corvin had not corrected him. He had not accused. He had not punished. He had only recognized him. And in that moment, Shawn saw what he was. Not a savage, but a man in exile from his own sincerity. Not a villain, just someone who would learn to bark at beauty before it could reveal him. The bottle of sugar water in his hand suddenly felt cheap. His clothes itched. His reflection in the cooler door looked unfamiliar. Outside, Corvin vanished down the sidewalk like a forgotten poem. And inside, for the first time since childhood, Shawn didn't feel strong. He didn't feel savage. He felt quiet and real. And that feeling did not leave him. Not that night. Not ever.
Excuse me.
Shawn didn't talk about the gas station. Not because it hadn't mattered, but because it mattered too much. He told himself the usual. He was just tired. The dude had weird monk energy. No big deal. But every night since then, something had felt off. Like a buzzing in the soul. Like his own silence had grown teeth. He stopped commenting. Not out of principle, just inertia. His words felt hollow now. Like knocking on a door he'd locked from the inside. A few days later, he was at the skate park. It was the one near the overpass. Graffiti and gravel. Chain link fence curled like fire. He wasn't skating, just leaning on his bike, watching. A kid biffed hard on a 3-stair rail, hard enough to make everyone flinch, except one man. He was tall, leaned against the fence, hands in the pockets of a dusty green coat. Not watching the kid, watching Shawn. The same calm, the same eyes. Shawn's stomach turned. He blinked hard. No way. He approached, half sure he was being pranked. "Yo," Shawn said. You been to the Marathon Gas down on 12th? The man looked amused. "I don't believe I have." "You sure?" Shawn pressed. The man smiled faintly. "I get that a lot." Shawn swallowed. "You look like this guy. Weird looking. Said something strange to me." "Must have been a mirror," the man said, then turned and walked off, leaving only a faint scent of cedar and winter. Shawn didn't move for a long time. That night, he dreamed of broken escalators in an empty mall, a long hallway with no exits. He kept seeing himself in reflections, but older, softer. He woke up shaking. The weirdness didn't stop. At the record store, a woman brushing dust off an old Miles Davis album said, "People bark when they're scared of music they don't understand." She didn't look at him, but she said it right as he passed. It was the exact phrasing, the timing. He walked out with nothing, not even the band tea he came for. Later, at the laundromat, the man folding a shirt beside him said, "The real ones never need to be loud. That's how you spot them." Shawn stared at him. He looked different, older, soft-spoken, but the cadence was identical. Shawn finally snapped, "All right, man, who are you?" The guy blinked. "I'm Harold. I work at the bus station." "Sure," Shawn muttered. "Of course you do." That night, Shawn sat in his apartment. No lights, just phone glow, no posts, no replies. He opened a video of the person he once mocked. He didn't know why. He watched the whole thing. The more you are your real self, the more of others' real selves you will see. And then, like some cruel rewind button got hit, he saw his own comment again. Man's thought he came up with the most genius idea ever, and in no time he will be famous. He read it 6 times. It didn't even sound like him anymore. It sounded like someone starving. He remembered his father's voice, a flash out of nowhere. You don't gotta be mean just 'cause they're not scared like you. He was 7 when his dad said that. He had just punched a boy at school for dancing weird in PE. Shawn had cried, saying the kid looked stupid. His dad didn't punish him. He just stared through him, same way that man had. Shawn pushed the memory back down. Later that week, he went back to the gas station. It was empty. Same cooler groan, same dust on the floor. But the man wasn't there. He almost asked the clerk if they'd seen someone with a long coat, but stopped. What would he even say? Instead, he wandered toward the back of the store, stood where he had stood, looked at the glass door where dusk had once broken him open. He whispered to the stale air, "Why me?" And the fridge hummed back. No answer. Just the kind of quiet that makes you realize you've been hearing your own nonsense for years, mistaking it for music. Shawn didn't tell anyone what was happening. He wasn't sure how. Everywhere he went, it was like reality had started echoing back pieces of a man he'd only met once. No matter how he tried to shake it, Corvin Lord Hayes was there. Not as a person, but as a kind of pressure, like gravity had become selective. It was a Tuesday when he walked down by the canal. Gray water, moss-caked walls. Not a place anyone goes unless they've run out of surface roots. He didn't know why he was there, just that his feet had led him as if summoned. It felt quiet in a way that held breath. A woman sat on the railing, her legs swinging like she didn't care about gravity. Long hair, torn jacket, sneakers with no laces. She didn't look up as he approached, just said, without turning, "You're walking like you already met him." Shawn froze. "Who?" "Don't act like you don't know his name," she said. "It's loud on you." "Corvin," he said, before he could stop himself. She smiled. She didn't turn. "There it is." "Who are you?" Shawn asked. "Doesn't matter. I'm not him." She hopped down, finally looking him in the eyes. They were hazel, but impossibly deep, like time had folded itself into them and come out wiser. "But I know him," she said, "and I know what happens when he looks at someone like that." Shawn didn't speak. "He doesn't look at you," she continued. "He looks through you. That's what hurts." He nodded slowly. "He said something to me at the gas station. I don't even remember it word for word." "You don't need to," she said. "The words aren't the thing. The recognition is. Silence fell, the kind that demands you notice yourself. Shawn finally whispered, "Why do I keep seeing people who remind me of him?" The woman shrugged. "Because you cracked open. Once that happens, the truths start smelling you. They want in." Truths? "People who aren't playing anymore," she said. "The ones who stopped pretending. They're drawn to recognition too, even if you're scared of it." Shawn looked down at the water. His reflection stared back. It didn't smirk. It didn't pose. It just was. The woman reached into her coat and pulled out a folded piece of parchment. Yes, parchment, not paper. "What's that?" he asked. "An invitation," she said. "Of sorts." Shawn took it with shaking hands. Scrawled in delicate, near calligraphic ink, with just 2 lines. "To the one who mistook armor for self. The door is open when you stop knocking." No signature, no date, just a faint circular watermark, like an eclipse drawn by someone who had seen both sides of it. Shawn looked up, but the woman was already gone. That night, he couldn't sleep. He sat at the foot of his bed, the invitation unfolded on his lap. He remembered the comment again. Not what he wrote, but what he felt when writing it. That flicker of threat, that reflexive meanness, that deep, ancient fear of someone being real in front of him, when he hadn't dared to be real himself. He whispered into the dark, "I don't want to keep barking." And the room didn't answer. But something inside him did. Not in words, in stillness. The same stillness that had followed Corvin like a shadow made of peace. Whew. Nice. Still here? What's going on here?